महाकाली कपालिनी काली महाकाली कपालिनी काली महाकाली कपालिनी काली महाकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा दुर्गा देवी दुर्गा भवानी 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 काली काली महाकाली कपालिनी काली महाकाली कपालिनी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी काली काली महाकाली कपालिनी काली महाकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा दुर्गा देवी दुर्गा भवानी दुर्गा दुर्गा देवी दुर्गा भवानी काली काली महाकाली कपालिनी काली महाकाली कपालिनी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी राजराजेश्वरी लक्ष्मी नारायणी काली काली महाकाली कपालिनी
Om Shri Sairam. Offering our collective salutations to Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, dignitaries seated on the dais, respected elders, esteemed musicians and academicians, guests, members of the media, students and staff, brothers and sisters, and everyone joining us live from around the world, a very good morning, Sairam, and welcome to the inaugural session of the second edition of Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan 2022, presented by the Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. At the outset, we would like to welcome all the dignitaries on the dais. Padma Vibhushan Awardee Dr. Tijan Bai, celebrated folk artist from Chhattisgarh, whose name is verily synonymous with the Pandavani art form. तहे दिल से हम सब आपका स्वागत करते हैं. Our two session chairs, Padma Shri Awardee Srimati Aruna Sairam, Carnatic vocalist. And Mrs. Rashmi Malik, Director, Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture amongst Youth, New Delhi. The conference chair, Dr. Maiso Manjunath, renowned violinist, who has been instrumental in coordinating and organizing this Sammelan. Dr. C. Srinivas, Chairman, Shri Sathya Sai Health and Education Trust, who globally spearheads the Shri Sathya Sai Sanjeevani chain of hospitals. Shri B. N. Narsimurthy, revered Chancellor, Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. Our collective love and gratitude to Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, founder Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, the vision and light behind this Sammelan. Sadguru is spearheading institutions of public service in the verticals of nutrition, education and healthcare across 33 countries. We also take this opportunity to extend gratitude to Srimati Meenakshi Lekhi ji, Honorable Minister of State for Culture and External Affairs, Government of India, for extending all the support for the Sammelan. She was supposed to be here today, but unfortunately, due to a last-minute engagement, could not be here. We now invite all the dignitaries to light the auspicious lamp commencing the Sammelan.
असतो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Lord Krishna in the Gita declares, Vedanam Samavedosmi. Among the 4 Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Because music, it is said, flowed as the very breath of God, and so it is neither of the body nor the mind, but emanates from the pure divine spirit, and therefore it also touches the deepest recesses of one's being, allowing us to get a glimpse of what divinity feels like. In a world divided by geographical boundaries, in a world of varied languages and cultures, music is perhaps one of those single unifying factors that defies and transcends all barriers, that touches and unites all beings. As Sadguru says, music or any other art form is not merely a means of entertainment, but must enable and lead to one's enlightenment. Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan is an endeavor by the Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence to practice, promote and propagate the rich cultural and spiritual Indian music tradition so that the parampara of this knowledge is seamlessly continued. The objectives of this Sammelan are to explore the ways in which different music genres, Hindustani, Carnatic, folk and Western, lead to the same experience of bliss beyond the mind and senses. And secondly, to establish meaningful connections to the roots of classical music by helping the younger generation appreciate it, which also allowing the freedom to reinvent it and make it relevant to the current times. We commence the Sammelan with Vedic invocation by girl students pursuing BA in Vedic studies, and they will chant verses from the Shri Suktam.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि वेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीम् यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयं गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रथमद्यां हस्तिनादप्रबोधिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्मा देवी जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारां मार्द्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णान्तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासा यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियल्लोके देवजुष्टामुदाराम् तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये लक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां ऋणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽथ बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसा नुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देव सखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे क्षुत्पिपासामलान् ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीनाशयाम्यहम् अभूतिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वानिर्णुद मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारानुरादर्शा नित्यपुष्टाङ्गरीषिणीम् ईश्वरी गुं सर्वभूतानां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्न्यै च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु।
May we invite the conference chair, Dr. Mysore Manjunath ji, to deliver the opening remarks. Dr. Manjunath is an internationally acclaimed classical musician who has been honored with the Sangeet Natak Academy and the Gana Kala Bhushana Awards. He also serves as member of the Academic Council of the Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. Dr. Manjunath.
Sairam, submitting reverential Sastanga Pranamas at the lotus feet of Sadguru Pujya Shri Swami, Honorable Chancellor Sir, Murthy Sir, Srinivas Sir, and all the dignitaries on the stage, off the stage, eminent musicians, musicologists, music connoisseurs, and reputed invitees, my dear students, wonderful friends, music lovers across the globe who have been, watching all these events all these days. Namaskara. We have lived all our lives running a mad race. A race to get ahead, a race to achieve, a race to acquire. We have lived an outward-looking life all along. As we increasingly realize that this approach to life has an adverse effect on every part of our being, right from spirit to body, the time is now ripe to change the paradigm and turn inward for a bit. And one of the first things that we will experience as we quieten down is an acute awareness of our physical and emotional sensations. Becoming aware of these sensations is one of the first and foremost important steps towards understanding the importance of music. Because music is the thing that can do all this wonderful miracle in us, as Swami has always been saying. The remarkable, blissful state that music evokes in us differs from other forms of worldly joys in its depth and longevity. And Indian classical music can very, very easily take us to the wonderful state of eternal bliss with great ease. Through these beautiful melodies, Indian classical music makes all our hearts find a safe place to feel and connect with something outside of ourselves. Even from a gross physiological standpoint, we can see the immensely positive impact of music on our body and mind. Scientists across the globe and psychiatrists, always have endorsed the effect of music on the brain. My dear friends, music lovers, Rabindranath Tagore, a prolific Indian writer, describes music as the purest form of art that arises from the inner soul and is based on life experiences. The sources of Indian music are endless and its potentials are without limit. Indian music obtained its inspiration and its ingredients from generations of inherited traditions and practices. We know that many important texts also said that God himself is nothing but another Brahma, a musical sound. India has always been a greatest experiment on the planet in terms of making a whole culture into a spiritual process. Every single act that our elders performed in the ancient time was aimed only at elevating our consciousness and attaining the highest liberation. And then we have always been listening to Swami, pointing this out all the time. As Swami always says, in this culture, music, dance, or whatever we did was not predominantly for entertainment, but it was a spiritual process. If you look at a person who is very deeply involved in a classical music, he will be a saint-like. Music was not something that somebody invented just for entertainment, but it is a tool to reach a higher level of consciousness. The performers of Indian classical music have always approached their art with simplicity and reverence. The essence of music, thus, consists in carrying the entire mankind into a feeling of oneness, an identity which unifies the musicians and listeners and people across the globe. In the light of all above facts, Pujya Swami decided to start conducting Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan at this beautiful divine campus. And today we are in Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan 2. We still remember the wonderful times we spent in the Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan 1 last year, wherein, that was the time when pandemic had just then stopped. Still, a huge number of musicians, musicologists, and eminent scholars were invited. They all assembled here. We had 2-3 wonderful days discussing about Indian classical music, its impact on human life and its medicinal value, and then so on. Many important, eminent scientists from across the globe were invited. They all participated. We still cherish that wonderful memories. And then today, and then this year, we are in Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan 2. And Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan aimed to understanding our roles and responsibilities to spread the glory of Indian classical music. As Indian music has the power of bringing blissful joy, power of healing, power of uniting, power of making us one with the supreme might. We all have witnessed the immensely successful conference last year, and this Sangeeta Sammelan presented by our Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence is all set to take off today as a host of wonderful musicians and scholars, all gathered here. We all have come together to discuss the power of Indian classical music. The Sammelan will serve as a platform to assume the power of music and discuss why classical music should be promoted, protected, nourished, and then supported and taught to the next generation. As per the guidelines of Pujya Swami, the conference this year is going to deal with the two important topics related to classical music and art. The number one is art is for heart, reinventing music for the current and the next generation. This is going to be the second topic. Swami wants us to cover very relevant and important and very crucial subjects like experiencing the bliss through music, as music is a tool of meditation through which the possibility of soul elevation is possible, and music as an energy, music as the spiritual foundation, and music as a connectivity to the divinity, and reinventing music for one's elevation and newer approaches to music through instrument variation, fusion variation, through which attracting and engaging the youth and the next generation is very, very, very easy and then immensely possible. And finally, music as a means to free expression so that it dissolves a lot of mental and emotional baggage of mankind, which is, we all have been witnessing it. And exploring the impact of Indian rhythm, reaching out to the youth and the West and its possibilities in establishing the fact that the rhythm is the harmony and rhythm is acceptance. All these important, crucial points have been chalked out and then given to the conference committee by Sadguru Swami. And these two sessions consisting of eminent musicians, musicologists from across the country, from across the genre, and with their vast, amazing experiences, I'm pretty sure will throw much light upon these topics. These presentations by eminent scholars will throw light on the impact of Indian classical music on our lives. It also looks into generating interest and appreciation towards Indian classical music in the hearts of younger generation to preserve it for prosperity. It is very relevant that this unique music conference is taking place in this amazing, divine place, an amazing center of arts, culture, spirituality, and academics, wherein utmost importance is being given to all the sanskaras of our Sanatana Dharma, music, art, Veda, any super special thing you can think of in the modern contemporary context, everything we have, and everything is treated like precious things, and then it is being nourished and promoted and worshipped based, on Swami's advice. My dear friends, this is going to be a super special Sangeeta Sammelan, and the invaluable and yeoman service of Param Pujya Shri Swami has always been doing, Swami who has been doing in the field of education, culture, social service is something entire world knows. And this is one occasion for all the music community to, who have always heard about the every single thing that has been transpiring here in this wonderful campus through different people. For most of us, it is an occasion and fortunate experience to personally come and then witness all the thing that has been transpiring here in our ashram. It is a matter of great pride for all of us that the emergence of this spiritual center is hugely and widely acknowledged across the globe. I am very, very sure that this conference happening in this beautiful place is going to be a valued platform for sharing knowledge and best practices which contribute to the celebration of music. And I trust the academic session will definitely enrich and update us with the emerging ideas. I take this opportunity to extend heartfelt compliments on behalf of all the music communities and all our university dignitaries, Vice Chancellor Ji and Registrar Ji, and all the academic council members and faculty of music department, and each one of you as a music connoisseur, taking this opportunity to submit our most respectful, sincere, and affectionate gratitude at the holy feet of Paramapujya Swami, who has given an immense, wonderful stature for classical music. Please join me in complimenting Paramapujya Swami. As I was sharing my experience yesterday during the concert, the way classical music, especially classical music, whether it is Carnatic music or Hindustani classical music, the way it is practiced, the way it is nourished, the way it is taught, the way it is worshipped here is amazing. We the classical musicians have every single reason to feel proud of this institution. I'm making this statement one more time. I'm telling you, my dear friends, I'm not making this statement because I belong here. As a professional musician who has been traveling across the globe, participating and performing in some of the topmost music festivals across the globe, I know the way music is treated here. And we please, if at all there is a center for all of us to kind of identify ourselves, this is the place. And the way music is given an academic shape, even the music is being taught at the university level, diploma, graduation and post-graduation, and very soon we are also going to have the PhD programs, music and research. We also have an extensive radio station, specifically meant for the promotion of Indian classical music, our sanskaras and Vedas, propagation of every single wonderful thing that you can think of Indian classical, Indian tradition. And this is an amazing place. We all feel immensely proud and fortunate to associate ourselves with this primary institution. And I'm pretty sure very, very soon we all can see our Sairam being the center of all wonderful things. If you talk about Indianness, Indian Sanatana Dharma, Indian wonderful things, whether it is yoga or in Ayurveda or Shastras or music or this or that or dhyana, any wonderful gems you can think of, it is going to be the center of every single thing. I am immensely fortunate that these things are happening, and as an academic council member and also the chair, the blessing that has been bestowed on me as the chair of this conference by Pujya Swami, I take this opportunity to express my sincere, very, very sincere, respectful namaskara at the whole feet of Paramapujya Swami and then Chancellor Sir and all our university dignitaries, including Vice Chancellor Sir, for making this happen. We, the music community, on behalf of all the eminent musicians who are assembled here and many musicians who are watching it live across the globe, whether in Carnatic or Hindustani or Western classical or jazz, whatever it is, I think, I'm immensely blessed. I'm totally speechless to see the way music is respected here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for that very warm and enlightening talk. We now request Srimati Aruna Sairamji to deliver the keynote address. An accomplished vocalist, composer, collaborator, humanitarian, and speaker, she currently serves as Vice Chairperson of the Sangeet Natak Academy, the apex body of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Srimati Aruna ji.
My Sashtanga Namaskaras and Pranamas at the feet of Pujya Sadguru, Pujya Swamiji. They say that we have no wisdom to find the Guru, but the Guru identifies us and finds us and takes us into his fold. And that is exactly what is happening here in the last 4 months. This is the 3rd time I am coming here at the due to the grace of Guru. Guru sees something in us which we don't see, because the andhakara of ego is so, it is like an iron curtain. It completely covers us and doesn't allow us to see us as we are. But the Guru is able to see it. And therefore the Guru says, no, this person needs to open. This person needs to open herself to the universe in a big way. So bring her here, put her in this place, and let her experience what this is. This is what is happening to each one of us. Don't you agree with me? This is what is happening. It is so easy to limit our lives to small things. It is so easy and so comfortable. The security of the familiar and the security of the material is so, it is a maya. And I definitely know that without the help of something so big, so benign, so beautiful as this, we will slip into that. Yeah, and once we come, it's not that for life we are there. We very easily go back to our old ways of being very limited. Again and again and again, the Guru calls us and says, no, this is your place. You have to, with so much difficulty, you got the life of a human being. So many births you have to take to become a human being. Don't waste it. Don't waste it in selfishness and self-centeredness and ego. You have to open yourself. This is what I am learning by coming here. Every time I come here, it is one more level of thing. And the Sulabha sadhana for doing this, to increase the speed. If it is 40 kilometers an hour, to make it 100 kilometers of speed, to realize that is music. Music is the only sadhana where immediately, the moment the first adhara sagja is touched and the tanpura is played and the voice or the instrument joins with that first note, each one of us feels, Appa, I have come home. I have come home. This is my home. This is my place. That feeling we get. And that happens only with music. And so that's why Sadguru is, I think, focusing so much on the music. Because that is a Sulabha sadhana. Even when Narada Muni asked Vishnu Bhagavan, when I want to see you and suddenly I find you are not here in Vaikuntha, where will you be? Where will I search you? And Vishnu Bhagavan says, please go and look in the Prithvi, in the heart of the Bhakta who is singing about me. That is where I am residing. I am residing there. So if don't look anywhere, go look there. In Bhagavatam, Dashama Skandam, that is what he says. Krishna Paramatma tells that I am there in the heart of that devotee who is singing about me, who's making the music, and I am residing there. And my life is, it is a limited thing. I am slowly learning how to make it. Physically, yes, one has gone here, there, everywhere, performed, but what to do with the limitation of your own self? That has to open up. That is opening up now. I can only illustrate what I am trying to say, not by words, but by singing something. So if you allow me, I will sing and tell you what I feel, what I learnt. So I we are talking about music as a unifying force, music for the heart, art for the heart, music unifying all of us into one vibration. That is what Adi Shankara has told. We are all one. We are the ansha of the same energy, same vibration, same soul. To understand that, I'll tell you an incident. I have told this many times, but any number of times it is worth repeating. So I went to France on many occasions, and on this one occasion, when I performed at one important place, Theatre de la Ville, eminent musician Dominic Vela, he came and he said, Aruna, why don't we do program together? So I said, oh, that will be something fantastic. So he and his wife invited me to spend 1 week in their house in Dijon. I went there every morning by the river. We used to take walks, and we are exploring ideas. How can we do a program together? Let us find some commonality in what we are doing. So Dominic Vela said one day, why don't you sing something, Arunaji? Then maybe we will get into the mood of some discussion. So I sang this shloka by Adi Shankara. Sarva Brahmamayi Chara Charamayi Jyotirmayi Vangmayi Nityanandamayi Niranjanamayi Jyotirmayi Sada Shivamayi Mam Pahi Mam Pahi Meenambike Meenambike Ambike the moment I finished singing this shloka, Dominic Vela said, oh, are you not talking about goddess? I said, yes. Oh, we have something very similar, Arunaji. I will sing it for you. It is about the Mother Mary, and it is about talking about her as a flower, a white-colored flower that blooms every morning. I'll sing it for you. So I'm going to sing like Dominic. Look at the raga, same Kalyani. Ave Virgine gaudente Madre dell'Omni potente Lo Señor permanencia de te fece madre filia rosa bianche fermelia Ave Virgine gaudente Sabda Brahmamayi Chara Charamayi Madre del omni potente, mam pahi min Ambike, Ambike. At that 1 minute, 1 second, the whole universe shrunk into one little ball, and that ball was music. That is why music is a unifying force. That is why we are all congregating here. I wish the most glorious experience for all of us, and once again my renewed pranamas at the feet of Sadguru for bringing us all together. We need somebody to bring us all together. We are ordinary human beings. We need the hand of that Guru, Sadguru, to bring us together. That is why we are here. My namaskaras once again to all of you.
Thank you, Arunamma, for enthralling us all once again with your wonderful voice and your wonderful talk. We now invite Shri B.N. Narsamurthy, Chancellor, Shri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to address us. Having come to Baba at a very young age, he served as a warden for more than 50 years at Baba's various educational institutions. He has authored 3 volumes of Bhagwan Baba's biography and is today at the forefront of the education mission under direct guidance of Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, Shri B.N. Narsamurthy.
My loving salutations at the feet of Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. I feel slightly nervous, though I stand in this place maybe for the 1000th time, in the presence of the galaxy of musicians on my right side and also in front of me. Now I understand why Jawaharlal Nehru, Prime Minister of India, during his lifetime, he once listened to the Queen of Music, M.S. Subbulakshmi. And after that, when he was asked to speak, he said, "Who am I, after all, a Prime Minister in the presence of the Queen of Music?" I also feel very nervous after I heard such scintillating talks by Dr. Manjunath and Aruna Sairam ji. My pranams to all the musicians, the galaxy of musicians who are here. Also, it was George Bernard Shaw who said, "There is nothing more difficult than to speak about music," he said. But after listening to Aruna Sairam ji and Dr. Manjunath, I should say that they have proved George Bernard Shaw wrong. There is a lot of sense in what George Bernard Shaw said. See, great musicians, like all of you who are here, can create music and enjoy it. And lovers of music, like me, can listen to music and enjoy it. But to talk of music is really very difficult. But I never thought that Dr. Manjunath is such an illustrious speaker. I have watched his performances any number of times, and even Aruna Sairam ji, I remember what Pandit Jasraj said once an interview was arranged by Dr. C. Srinivas with Pandit Jasraj when I was writing the biography of Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. He said, at the end of the interview, he said, "See, Narasimhamurthy, you have heard of great performances by musicians. They are great because God is there. This is the feeling we get, all of us get, when we listen to wonderful musicians, especially when they perform with great devotion to God. You heard today from Dr. Manjunath how much music and musicians are respected here. It is true, but not surprising. Because that is the great legacy of Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, which has been inherited in abundance by Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai. Brother Srinivas would remember, and many of our brothers and sisters who are a part of the Spirit of Unity music festivals at Prashantinilayam in 1994 and 95, on the occasion of the 69th and 70th birthdays of Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, all the greatest of the musicians had converged on Prashantinilayam. Everybody wanted to offer their music to Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. In our association, Brother Srinivas will agree with me, for more than 5 decades with Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, that was one and the only time that he listened to music. He was among the audience till 1 a.m. in the night, only one time. He loved music. Naturally, he loved musicians. And he sheltered many of them. More than the scholastic achievements of musicians, what he loved was the pure bhava, the emotion of devotion in the hearts of the musicians. That is why MS was the most favorite musicians of Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Our dear younger brother Rajesh would agree with that. Rajesh, our mandolin Rajesh, is sitting here. He would agree with that. Because the kind of experience that anyone would get when MS was singing was out of the world. Because of her devotion to God. And I still remember Brother Srinivas was sent by Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba towards the last days of MS with blessings. And finally, when he was taking leave, Srinivas asked MS, "Amma, can I convey any prayer to Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba?" What she said, still it rings in my ears. She said, "Even before any thought or desire comes up in my heart, Sathya Sai Baba is fulfilling it. There is nothing for me to ask." This is what she said. That was her sense of surrender to Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Because Brother Srinivas and myself personally know how many times Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba salvaged Sadashivam and MS from very difficult situations in their life. Therefore, it is nothing surprising that Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, whom the world today believes as the spiritual successor to Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, has similar love for music and regard for musicians. Any leisure time which Sadguru has, we know he wants to spend with our music students and music teachers. Not just listening, teaching them the subtle nuances, how to sing a raga. This I have personally seen Bhagavan Sri Sathya Baba doing it to his students. And again I saw very recently when we went to Kodaikanal, how Sadguru corrected one of the students who started singing Malhara Raga. Therefore, definitely we regard music and musicians are the greatest promoters of Sanatana Dharma, especially the classical music, may it be Hindustani or Carnatic, even Western music for that matter. All of us definitely know how Saint Tyagaraja summarized the essence of music by saying, Saṅgīta jnānamu bhakti vina sanmargamu kalade manasa. Without devotion to God, music is as dry as a fistful of sand. It is useless. That's what Tyagaraja said. And one of the greatest masters of Western music, Johann Sebastian Bach, he said this. When we talk about the unifying ability, unifying power of music, when we listen to these two statements, one from our Saint Tyagaraja and from this Bach, what he said, the aim and the final end of all music should be nothing other than glory of God and enlightenment of the soul. Many times we think Western music, it's only entertains, but the classical Western music. Here I would like to quote Douglas Adams, one of the very famous music critics in our own times. He evaluated the three great Western musicians, Beethoven, Mozart, and Bach. I would like to quote because our students should know this. Because many times we think Western music is very superficial. It can only entertain our senses. It is not true. What Douglas Adams says, Beethoven tells you what it is to be like Beethoven. Mozart tells you what it is to be like human. And Bach tells you what it is to be like God. This is what he said. Therefore, there is unity. Unity is not something which we have to find or really which we have to discover. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, any number of times we have heard from Sadguru Madhusudan Sai. Unity is the undercurrent of our existence. All that we need to do is to remind human beings of that unity, and there is nothing other than music to do it, nothing more powerful than music. It was Aldous Huxley who said, next to silence, that which comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music. In silence, we feel the existence of God. We feel the experience of God. We know that we are one with Him. But next to silence, that comes which nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music. Therefore, this conference, the second of it in its kind, I should be very, very grateful to Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai that he chose none other than Dr. Manjunath for organizing this Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan in this place. He is a true ambassador of Indian culture because Indian culture walks on 2 feet, Veda and Nada. Promotion of Veda, promotion of Nada, music, is a must for revival of any chances of survival of mankind. I am not saying for the revival of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is most essential for exactly survival of our mankind today. As Arnold Toynbee said, the chances of survival of mankind were much brighter when man was helpless against tigers than today when we are helpless against ourselves. When we lose spiritual moorings, we degenerate and deteriorate into animal kind, animals. And one and the only way to lift up the human race to a higher level of consciousness, just to survive because of the dangers that surround, the dangers which were created by ourselves in the last 200 years, we have to touch the soul of mankind, and nothing more powerful than music, revival of Veda, therefore revival of music. I'm not talking about only Indian classical music. I am sure all classical musics anywhere definitely have emanated from a divine heart. Therefore, anything that can unite man with God can unite mankind. Anything that divides man from God will divide mankind. Therefore, the music, the most powerful medium, not of man, but of God. Francis Bacon said this: all the great that we know, all the wonderful thing that we have below on this earth is music. Therefore, again, my pranams to all the musicians. We really truly regard you as ambassadors of God, ambassadors of Indian culture. And somebody like Dr. Manjunath has become an ambassador of Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, more importantly of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. Thank you very much, Dr. Manjunath. Thank everyone. Sairam.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of all of us, we pray to Sadguru to bless us all with his inaugural message.
On this very special occasion of the 97th birthday celebrations of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who embodied music, who embodies music, and continues to promote, preserve, protect, appreciate, encourage music of all kinds, of all forms. We are so happy to celebrate the second edition of Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan, thanks to Dr. Manjunath and his tireless efforts to bring musicians to this small but holy hamlet of Sathya Sai Grama from all around the world, and a lot of devotees who have gathered over here to appreciate and enjoy this conference, as well as those who are watching. A lot of blessings for this wonderful effort to each one of you. On the stage, we have some luminaries of the world of music, the brightest stars in the galaxy of the music, and I convey our loving welcome and grateful appreciation for being here to share your wonderful thoughts, to share your ideas. And of course, there are musicians off the stage also. And to all of them, a very hearty welcome to this holy place, and look forward to your guidance to all the students and staff, as well as the music lovers who are watching this program. As a small child in Chhattisgarh, I have heard Pandavani. We would sit all through the night and listen to Pandavani. This is the story of Pandavas, as Pandavani would be the Mahabharata story. And Tijan Bhai ji, who is here with us, आपकी पंडवानी सुन सुन के हम सब बड़े हुए हैं. So she would teach the story of Mahabharata, Krishna, the Pandavas, especially the agony of Draupadi, how she would bring it out with her singing when, she was being disrobed and dishonored, and that agony, the way she would portray it on the stage. It's still a scene that plays again and again in front of our eyes, and we are very grateful that despite her, not so much of good health, she has come all the way. आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. आप इतनी दूर से अस्वस्थ होने पर भी आए इतनी दूर से हम सबको आशीर्वाद देने, तो आपका सबसे पहले बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. Of course, Aruna ji, the way she conveyed the unity in the Indian and the Italian version of the same raga, and both singing the praise of the mother goddess. The motherhood is same, right? We all have mothers. Italian mothers and Indian mothers are no different. They may speak different language, feed different foods, but at the end, the love of the mother is same. So when you talk about the Jagannatha, the greatest, the mother of all beings, it's natural but to sing the same way in whichever language we sing. And so aptly and so perfectly she has illustrated that through her singing today, and that itself is such a beautiful opening to this conference, I would say. So we are very grateful to you. Dr. Manjunath has taken upon himself this task of spreading Indian music and bringing the unity of all people through this field of music, and he has been working very hard. I do not want to praise him much because he's our own. That is why you don't really praise our own people and thank them too much. So all those whom I am not thanking, please consider yourselves as my very own and be happy. So when this Department of Music was inaugurated in the Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, and Dr. Manjunath came along with many musicians, and the only idea was to help the next generation learn and appreciate Indian music, Western music, all forms and genres of music, including folk and other art forms. And he took it very seriously that we must do something very good about it, and that's how Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan was born. And Bharata, it could have been Karnataka Sangeeta Sammelan, it could have been Muddenahalli Sangeeta Sammelan or anything else. But it was Bharata Sangeeta Sammelan because Bharata itself contains the essence of music. Bhava, Raga, Tala. So Bharata is the essence of all music, and therefore Bharata Sangeeta Sammelan. But above all, Bhava is the one which is unique about music. जब भाव से हम गाते हैं तभी वो भगवान तक पहुंचता है. यदि भाव से नहीं गाते हैं तो कान तक पहुंचता है, भगवान तक नहीं पहुंचता. It only reaches your ears, doesn't reach the Almighty Supreme. So unless the music is played, sung, or spoken about, even when you speak about it, you must speak, sing, play with that bhava shuddhi, purest of the feelings, only to please the divine within and the divine who sits in all the hearts. As Aruna ji said, the divine who resides in all the hearts, to that divine we want to offer our music. And the one unique proposition of the university is that we must teach our children this kind of music which is purest in its feelings. Bhava is the most important component. Of course, raga and tala cannot be compromised. But bhava is the essence, the soul of all our teaching and learning in our university. Keeping that in mind, we must propagate, we must promote, we must teach music to our next generation. So that was the idea, and I wanted our children to benefit from the presence and the guidance of such luminaries who are working in the field of music, who have achieved so much in the service of the Mother Sharada by offering their entire life as an offering to her and practicing and promoting this music. So that is why we are very lucky. Our children should consider themselves very fortunate to have the guidance from such luminaries who come all the way. You don't move an inch from your place, but they come all the way just to be with you and just to give this knowledge of music to you. This is our parampara. And Bharat is known for its parampara. Without parampara, we would not be Bharat today. so many invasions, so many difficulties that the country went through, we wouldn't have remained one piece or one country today unless we had this parampara of gurus teaching this to the Shishyas. And that's how it has continued for generations together. Books have been destroyed, institutions have been destroyed, much of plundering and much of damage was done. So if we only dependent on an external aspect of learning and teaching, probably would have lost most of our knowledge. But we had an internal connection with the Guru, with the knowledge system that we had. And that's why from Guru to Shishya, who can steal it away? Na chauraharyam, na cha rajaharyam, na bhratra bhadyam, na cha bharakari. Vyaye krite vardhate eva nityam vidyadhanam sarvadhana pradhanam, it is said. It cannot be divided amongst the brothers like father's property. It cannot be stolen away by the thieves when you hide it in your cupboards. It is not heavy to carry. It is so light and easy. You can take it anywhere. And this is the beauty of the Mother Sharada's, that Vidya Dhana, that knowledge which cannot be destroyed. Once you have gained it, it is yours. And the more you share with it, the more it grows. That's why of all the kinds of wealth, knowledge or Vidya is considered as the most precious of all wealths, because it's indestructible. And it only increases every time you share with more people. This wealth increases but does not diminish. So they are here, the true treasurers of this knowledge of music, who are here to share this wealth of music with each one of you and make us wealthier people by the end of this conference. Wealthier, richer in our understanding and appreciation of all kinds of music. So again and again, I must bow down to great musicians of this country who have kept this legacy going by sacrificing everything that they have had. I have heard about great Panditjis who have come here and gone, and they have, at last time also we heard, they survived on one roti and a little achar. Achar is not the walking, talking achar, the pickle. No, they have survived with that, but they didn't give up music. These are the people who have nourished and protected our Indian music, and we have to be very grateful to them. So to all their sacrifices that they have made to preserve and promote music, to the sacrifices, all the people here, we have from Speak McCabe, the president, she has been promoting this idea of music to around the world. You know, she's taking artists, folk artists, unknown, unseen, invisible artists of India and putting them on world stage and giving them a platform to voice their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. So she has done a wonderful job. I must appreciate that. Gita Vadya Anunado Yatra Kakusvana Shubhaha Tasmin Deshe Vipapmano Mangalyam Cha Bhavishyati, says Bharata Muni in Natya Shastra. Where there is music, there is singing and playing of instruments, where there is chanting of verses in melodious and auspicious tones, that place becomes holy by itself. Tasmin Deshe Vipapmano Mangalyam Cha Bhavishyati. It becomes free of all the sins and becomes the most holy of all the places. So one reason why Satya Sai Grama is a holy place is because there is chanting of Vedas, there is singing of bhajans, there is practicing of music, there are talks which are full of auspicious words and verses. And all this is happening in this place like a Mahayagna. And that is why this place is gaining so much of strength, power, energy from all these auspicious activities that are going on. And I look forward to this, as Manjunath ji said, this should become the center of excellence for all forms of knowledge, not just music, be it medicine, be it languages, be it science, be it technology, anything that we can think of. Center for excellence should be here for the whole world. And much of it depends on the Shishyas than the Gurus. Because Guru is impartial. Guru is like the sun who shines for everybody equally. But it is up to us to open the doors and windows of our hearts and let that light of knowledge come in. So much effort depends on the efforts of the students and disciples. Even if a great guru is there, it's not enough. If the students are not good, it's not going to do much. So I appeal and I insist upon all the teachers and students and all of the music lovers who are here to please pay attention to these wonderful talks that are going to follow after this. And continue to learn, because learning never stops. And especially music is such a vast, vast field that, learning never ends in music. Something new you always learn. Yesterday we learned some new beats, you see. I'm just joking. Mukul Rajji, and they were playing there, Manjunath ji. And suddenly it went silent. And I looked up and said, what happened? I was closing my eyes and enjoying the nada, tala. And suddenly I look up and then there's silence. They were playing in the air. But even silence is music. That is also music. In fact, the God is called Nada Brahma, and our scriptures say the first thing that was created after Brahman was Akasha. Akashad Vayu Vayo Agnihi Agnirapah Abhya Prithvi Prithivya Oshadayah Oshadibhyonnam Annat Purushaha. So man came much, much later. First came Akasha. And Akash has, tanmatras. We all know about the Sukshma Pancha Mahabhuta. We studied in, just now we studied in our yoga. So that was in Bhagavad Gita we were studying. So the idea is that Akash has quality is Shabda. So Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasagandha. Even in the womb when the child is there, the ears form quite early. The first thing he starts listening to whatever is going on around. That's why all the pregnant mothers, and I tell them, see, don't speak nice things, listen to nice things, because the child in the womb is listening and it is learning. And we have great people who have learned so much of knowledge in the womb, including Narada, they say, because even Narada's mother was serving some rishis in an ashram, and when Narada was in the womb, and that's how he was born as a great bhakta and jnani. This is what Bhagavatam says. So that is why listening is so important. Shrutis, Vedas are Shruti, sound is Shruti, and through that they say God enters through the ears. So this music is the way, it is a conduit that brings God and good things through the ears into our hearts and makes us better people. So to all those great musicians who have sacrificed much for the sake of music, and all those who are here who have done it as their life's sadhana, those on the stage and off stage, and all those who are around watching us around the world, to all of them I congratulate for the wonderful work that you have done and are doing. And I look forward to learning much more from all of you. I look forward to making this university a center of excellence in music and performing arts, and all children to benefit from it. Thanking again everybody except Manjunath ji, and because he is our very own. So therefore we don't have to thank him, but all of us are one, we are all one, all are our own. So conveying our gratitude to everyone, I conclude this morning's session.
With this, we conclude the inaugural session. We will now have a short break for 5 minutes and will reconvene at 11 a.m. for the first technical session of the Sammelan. Thank you. Sairam. Sairam, request everyone to kindly resume your seats. We will be commencing the session shortly. We request all the students, staff and devotees who are on the outside to kindly Welcome back. We will now commence the technical sessions of Bharath Sangeeta Sammelan 2022. The theme for the first session is Art is for the Heart. The goal of this session is to explore the ways in which different music genres, Hindustani, Carnatic, folk and Western, lead to the same experience of bliss beyond the mind and the senses. Our esteemed speakers for this morning are Vidushi Nirmala Rajasekar, who will speak on the topic saṅgītam, ānandaṁ, paramānandam, as seen by Carnatic composers. Nirmala ji is a world-renowned veena player, vocalist, composer and educator who believes in passing on the art to the next generation. She established the Nāda Center for Music, a not-for-profit organization that believes in building bridges through music. Her pride and joy are her many students who live all over the globe. We also have Vidwan K. and Shashikiran ji, who will speak on the topic nādopāsanā, music as meditation. A 2-year-old child prodigy who could identify hundreds of ragas and talas, Shashikiran ji is today a renowned Carnatic vocalist, a much sought-after guru, author and entrepreneur. He is also a pioneer, having produced the world's first CD-ROM and VCD on Carnatic music. We have Vidwan Pattabhirama Pandit, who hails from a family of musicians. Having been initiated into music at a very young age of 3, he trained under several stalwarts in Carnatic music. An A-grade artist of the All India Radio, he is the recipient of many prestigious awards. He will share with us his experiential learnings and insights, his journey of self-discovery through music. We also have Padma Shri Awardee Srimati Aruna Sairam ji as the session chair. The conference chair, Dr. Mysore Manjunath ji. And now, over to you, Aruna ji.
Namaskara to all of you, and primarily at the feet of Sadguru, with whose blessings we are having this wonderful Sammelan here. I'm extremely privileged to be surrounded by my fellow travelers in the journey of music, illustrious people such as Dr. Manjunath, who is a pride of India, pride of Carnatic music. Srimati Nirmala Rajasekar, who is to be a musician is difficult, to be a Vainika is more difficult, to be a Vainika of renown is even more difficult because she really has dedicated her life to the music of the Veena. Shri Shashikiran ji, who has completely changed the map of the way Carnatic music is listened to in South India. His vision of how this music should reach the next generation and to people who have not been touched by this music. He has made a revolution of sorts. I commend his work very much, and my colleague Pattabhirama Pandit, Shri Pattabhirama Pandit, I have had the great occasion of listening to his music. He's one of the bright young stars of Carnatic music, to be so talented, so proficient, so knowledgeable, and yet, so simple. That simplicity eludes all of us, and we are proud of you. So, I now hand it over to, I think, Nirmala ji, you are the first speaker for this afternoon session. I will request Manjunath ji to just begin the proceedings, and then Nirmala ji will start. Will you please just a couple of words?
Thank you, Aruna madam, and it's an honor having you here as a chair of this first session, and all eminent musicians, wonderful friends of mine, but real stalwarts in the art of classical music of India. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be part of this Sangeeta Sammelan. And we are really looking forward to listening to you, learning so much, and sharing your experiences with all our students and faculty and all of us, music connoisseurs. Not only here, even Swami is sitting there with all the thing, and then he's on, watching all the proceedings of this conference live. And music connoisseurs and music lovers and our Sai Bhaktas from across the world, they're all watching it live, and of course with love. And it's with immense respect and gratitude I take this opportunity to welcome each one of you. Aruna Madam for sharing the session, and Shashikiran ji, Pattabi ji, and Nirmala ji. And now we begin the session, and then first it is going to be Nirmala Rajasekar ji. And Nirmala ji is one of the foremost Veena players, and she's an amazing, as Aruna Madam just now described her. It is not so easy to be an instrumentalist, especially Veena player, because Veena, even though Veena is such a popular instrument, it is not an easy task to attain proficiency, attain mastery over the instrument, and also returning all the original, the wonderful combination of retaining the age-old traditional parampara techniques, parampara essence of Veena playing, at the same time being immensely creative, inventing so many wonderful things and incorporating all those things. And Nirmala ji is undoubtedly one of the foremost exponents of Veena in the contemporary Carnatic classical music scenario, living in US but traveling everywhere. And then just for this conference sake, she arrived in India just 2 days ago, and then she very much wanted to be part of this one. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and over to you, Nirmala ji, please.
Thank you for those kind words. With your permission, I'm going to my firstborn, my Veena, and begin my presentation from there. Just give me 2 minutes. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. At the lotus feet of Sadguru, Pujya Shri Madhusudan Sai ji, my gurus, my parents, I offer a few select humble thoughts that come to mind when such a topic as this ocean, that I have not even taken one drop of yet in my lifetime, I'm trying to understand more as a student I present before you today. It is an absolute privilege to hold the national instrument of India in my hands. She came to me when I was 6 years old. Maybe it was the dragon head on one side or the tone of this instrument that drew me and consumed me into this beautiful world, Carnatic music. 2000 years is what some people say, according to some other historians, since the Veena was an accompaniment for the chants of the Vedas, it was perhaps even older than that, even 5,000 years. When we are talking about the music, which is matters of the heart, art as a heart is one of the things that we were told about. And talking about the role of music as a unifying influence on community and society. I thought, what a beautiful opportunity for me to research, understand a little more of what I am beginning to just know how much I don't know. For 2000 years, this has been around. How can somebody do this, understanding of this in one lifetime, one mere lifetime? This instrument, one of the largest fretboards in the business of instrumentation. To understand each fret takes many lifetimes. So I'm very glad that for the next several janams, which I'm sure I'm going to be taking, I will be born, I hope and pray, as a veena player, to explore this, to learn more. Talking about Indian classical music, I'm just going to go very slowly, just the way I learn, very slowly, step by step. Please bear with me. What is Indian classical music, be it the south of the Vindhyas or the north, Carnatic music or Hindustani? One could say it is a contemplative, yet very spontaneous practice. It is a Shastra, where Manodharma rules. Manodharma, there is grammar, and the mind revels in this grammar and creates innumerable possibilities. Hallmark of Indian classical music, Manodharma. Shastra, grammar, what to do, what not to do. The Tantra, that simply means employing techniques, methods of approaching this art form, art. Vidya is such a big word. Sadhguruji spoke about Vidya, the knowledge that we attained with Vidya. And the goddess herself, the embodiment of knowledge, the personification of knowledge, sits with this gorgeous instrument, the Saraswati Veena in her hand. And that is the symbol of Carnatic music. When I went to Mysore University on a recent visit, thanks to Manjanna, the first thing that struck me was the beautiful Saraswati emblem as one enters the University of Mysore. I think that sums it all. Talks about knowledge, learning, and how great this samskara is, which comes to the next word that I am talking about, samskara. What is samskara? Something that has been handed over to us. We learnt about that, we heard about that in the inaugural address as well. The age-old oral tradition, which is here, not just written. If we are writing it, that is also possible. Sometimes when I'm traveling in the West, they say, oh, you don't write Indian music? Well, we do script, but how is it possible to hold an ocean in a little container? Writing Indian music is like that. Writing each gamaka or each variation is like holding the ocean in a cup. At least to me, it is like that. So this samskara, this shastra, this vidya that we have received through the oral tradition, by the way, is a continuum, a dynamic continuum. Music has grown. Music has definitely changed. Values have not changed, but many elements of it have changed. And that is how progress is seen. The very fact that there are 5,000 students, I was talking to somebody yesterday, across this Sri Sathya Sai centers of learning, makes me fill my heart with pride that there are 5,000 people, young fertile minds, the leaders of tomorrow, all of you, that have our samskara in your heart. Sure success. God is there, divine presence is here, spiritualism is there in everything you do. Your life will be very successful. Now, what success is also something that is to be contemplated. I'm not going there. But what I believe is success is happening for all of you all. Then we say music is the language of emotion. We can see the word navarasa in use in music, dance, in so many art forms. Rasa, as in Sanskrit we know, is the essence of emotion, moods, feelings. We express ourselves through music. Music is a very simple, sulabha is what Aruna ma'am said in her speech. Very sulabha, it is easy, it is accessible. And that coming home, she used that word. When we play the Shruti, I'm on G right now, as they say in the Western notation, 5. When we land on that sajam, or we come to allied notes near the sajam, there is a feeling of coming home to the embrace of your mother, to the embrace of your loved ones. Music gives you that, the emotion. So what are the Navarasas and why are they so important in what I'm going to talk about, which is the unification of music and how I have perceived it? The 9 emotions we know: Raudra, anger; love, Shringara or Vatsalya, there are different forms of love; fear, which is Bhayanaka; peace, Shanta; wonder, Adbhuta; compassion, Karuna; disgust, Bibhatsa; Veera, victory and valor; humor, amusement, Hasya. These are the 9 that have been told to us forever. And our raga systems, each one raga, each and every raga, there are mathematical combinations that tell us 34,848 ragas are possible using various permutation combination rules of raga making. Each one of them definitely contributes to a rasa, to an emotion. It is interesting that according to Prahalada himself, he says bhakti, devotion, is a combination of Shringara, Hasya, Adbhuta, Veera, Shanta and Karuna rasas. And this we find in the Bhagavata Purana. That bhakti is a summary of 6 of these rasas. I just want to touch on a few of these rasas before I get into the way I'm going to look at the unification. Vatsalya, the love. The beautiful composition Jagadodharana comes to mind. When Purandara Dasa is talking to Yashoda and says, the love of your child Krishna, how could you, Yashoda, be this person that could be the mother of the Lord of the universe, the one who rules the universe, Jagadodharana. But you are the mother, and her love is seen in that composition. He talks about it the whole time. The same love is talked about by Bharatiyar, Chinnanjirikiliye Kandamma, Tamil language, of course. And there is one line in that he says, Uchithanai Mugarndal Garuvam Varagadadi, Pergadadi. When our children come to us and we give them a kiss on their top of their heads, when the parents do that, there is so much happiness. This is not pride, this is not garva, which is pride, but this is a sense of happiness, ānandaṁ, paramānandam, that love, that vatsalya gives us, that rasa gives us. And there are songs innumerable talking about it. I just named 2 of them. Beauty of music is seen in Sobillu Saptaswara. Tyagaraja Swami, in fact, talks about it in Nabi Hritkantarasana. He talks about how to sing music in that Nabi Hritkantarasana. Sobillu Saptaswara. Such beautiful notes are there. There is, of course, Nada Tanumanisham, where he talks about the complete beauty of Nada, in whom we surrender and see as Lord Shiva. All pervasive. Everywhere this Nada is there. Nadaloludai, Brahmananda, Mandave Manasa. Everywhere we find Nada. And he says, O mind, by becoming a devotee of Nada, you can absolutely get eternal bliss. Bliss. Bliss is, and again, ānandaṁ, paramānandam, and even Satchidananda, which is a little slightly more different about realizing who we are, which is so critical to see the divine in all of us. Realizing that awareness is what this is all about, finding out where we are with this. Nada is said to be that hidden energy that connects the inner and the outer. The entire universe is said to consist of sound vibrations, nadas, the universal pulse of life. Now the unifying traits of music. I decided to see what are these things that bring us together as a society, as a community, and how does music become this unifying factor? Bearing witness is the first thing that comes to mind. Music has borne witness to what has happened around us and within us over time. Momentous events with historical path of culture. Culture is seen through music. And we can see a commentary, an observation, all of this coming through in the bearing witness. Music bears witness through some very, very eminent songs. When we hear Padma's voice singing, Shanti Nilava Vendum, Sethu Madhavarao composed this song as a tribute for peace and Mahatma Gandhi. When we think of that great man, that great father of the nation, we think of all the struggles that this country has gone through to become a free, independent country. All that our ancestors have gone through to give us the life that we have received today. When we think of Shanti Nilava Vendum, when we hear the words Gandhi, Mahatma, our Kattalai, he says this is what he wanted us to follow, ahimsa, follow discipline, do your duty. All this is said in that song, bearing witness to the life cycle of Mahatma Gandhi's struggle for independence and of the great people who gave us this freedom. We think of Maitrim Bhajata. I'm sure everyone in this room hears the immortal voice of MS Amma. And that is bearing witness to the fact that that was sung at the United Nations by this great Bharat Ratna, a song created by the holy, honorable Chandrasekhar Saraswati, set to music by Kadayanallur Venkatraman, performed by MS Amma in United Nations. What a glorious moment for Indian Carnatic music that was. Music bore history and bore witness. And to all of us, we are united in that pride of bearing witness through music. We have several other examples here. I'm just going to name a few. Of course, I'm crossing the border slightly and think of Sare Jahan Se Acha, Hindustan Hamara, a song written by Muhammad Iqbal, one of the most popular tunes that was created by Pandit Ravi Shankar, another great son of this country, one of the most famous Indians of this world, and that was adapted by the armed forces. Today, that is the song chosen by that tune of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji for the song written by Muhammad Iqbal, who actually was in Pakistan later, but was written about India. When we hear the tunes of Sare Jahan Se Acha, our heart swells with pride. Music, again, bearing witness. Commentary being witness, there is a beautiful, beautiful commentary that has been written about all the world is a stage. We are merely players. I'm sure you know the beautiful composition, Nanadi Baduku Natakamu, written by our great Annamaya. In this he says, all the world is a stage, just like the bard did in the 16th century, William Shakespeare. And we are merely actors who come in at our entrances and leave at our exits, not knowing that this is just a play. Pututayu nizamu, potayu nizamu. Nata nata nee pani natakamu. We are coming, we know that. We are going to be born, we are born, that's a reality. And one day we will go, that is a reality. In between, what happens is only a play. In another part, he says, Nagi nagi kalamu. Time is standing and laughing at us. Here we are making the same mistakes again and again and again, not realizing this is only a play by the divine. Commentary, again music bearing witness. When we think of that beautiful composition, and we look at that poetry and the music that goes with it, how can we not be grateful to have been born with this samskara in our lives? The second fact of bearing witness, bhakti movement. Bhakti, we already said, is the combination of the 6 rasas, and music is the representation of emotion. And from Andal, one of the Alvars, to the Nayanmars of Tamil Nadu, to Vallabhacharya from Andhra Pradesh, to the great Akka Mahadevi here in Karnataka, Basavanna, his Vachanas, so many other people that I am not naming every single person on the list here, but we all know they have all contributed immensely to the Bhakti movement and created reawakening of the spiritual soul of India. That was the spirit of the Bhakti movement. And music was right there to be the factor that made Bhakti movement possible. Of course, we have immense names from the north of the country. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sant Jnaneshwar, Sant Tukaram, and again, the list goes on and on. Guru Nanak Ji. But I'm also going to talk about one particular composer saint from Kerala, Poontanam, in which he talks about Namasmaranam, the remembrance and repeating of the Lord's name. And he says, by doing that again and again, Krishna Krishna Mukunda Janardana, Krishna Govinda Narayana Hare, Achyudananda, again, Ananda comes into play. Govinda Madhava, Satchidananda, self-awareness, Narayana Hare. Annually, the life of this great poet is celebrated at the Guruvayur Shri Krishna temple as Poontanam Day. Now, every year we remember this great composer because of him using the music to remind us of awareness of who we are and the bhakti that has contributed to the immense possibilities of music being a unifying factor. The third thing that comes to mind when music unites us is the great Tyagaraja Aradhana. This year, we will be celebrating on January 11th, the Pancharatnam singing, the 176th year of the Tyagaraja Aradhana in Thiruvayyaru, where we celebrate the great saint. It was not an easy path to get to this. There were many people that were involved, and the one lady who I would like to really remember and bow my head down in gratitude, Bangalore Nagaratnamma. She fought immense odds, used her personal fortune. She was a Harikatha exponent, a patron of the arts, a dancer, a musician. She did anything and everything possible to obtain the space that was the Samadhi. A lot of people were not for a woman doing that at those times. But she stood firm, and I read that it was the community of grocers and people who did supply for the Aradhana when she did it, who stood by her and helped her make this a reality. Today, we are going to be celebrating on January, not exactly today, but in a few weeks, the 176th Aradhana. Music has brought us together. Tyagaraja Aradhana and Aradhanas are celebrated across the world now. Sincerely using music as the vehicle for bringing us together. With that, I move from bearing witness to the next area where I believe music contributes hugely, and we have ample examples of that: storytelling and dialogue. Tyagaraja Swami's Sita Rama Vijayam, one of his lesser known operas. Of course, the more well-known Prahalada Bhakti Vijayam, where he talks about the greatness of Prahalada's bhakti, and the Nauka Charitram, where it is a boat exercise on the Yamuna when Krishna and 20 gopis. This is an imaginative, creative opera written by Tyagaraja Swami. Storytelling at its best from the master who has given us this. When we tell stories, there is something very attractive about it. I'm sure all of us have beautiful memories of stories. Things tend to stick in our mind much better with a story. So storytelling, music has helped, solidified our understanding of these stories. I will talk about Tyagaraja one more time because he talks about strategic management of Lord Rama. This is how I understood it when I read the commentary of Sarasa Samadhana Bedadanta Chatura, the very famous Kapi Narayani composition. Samadhana Bedadanda methods were employed by Rama before finally none of it worked and he had to kill Ravana. Tyagaraja says, you sent emissaries to placate him. He sent his people to calm him down to Ayodhya. Then he offered Ayodhya itself. He sent them to Lanka to placate him. And then he offered Ayodhya as a way to placate him, to say, let's not take this any further. Satamugana Ayodhya Nittu Nantira. Finally, you had to conquer him. Hatamu Jesitivi, because there was no other option. And you made his brother Vibhishana the king of Ayodhya. He says, you employed all the tactics. You tried to make peace. You tried to be patient with him. When none of it worked, that is when you used this technique of having to remove him. A commentary by Tyagaraja Swami about his great Rama, who he saw in every form and any form around him. Maharaja Swaditranal has written an entire story of Ramayana, we all know, in this great composition, Bhavayami Raghuramam. Right from the beginning till the end, the entire Ramayana has been told as a story. Not only the Ramayana, but the Dasavataram. There are beautiful pictures of Dasavataram up here. I was just thinking about that when I saw it yesterday. Kamala Jasya Hrita, the name of the composition, in which he has used Mohanam, Bilahari, Dhanyasi, Saranga, Madhyamavati, Athana, Natakurunji, Darbar, Ananda Bhairavi, and finally Saurashtram to talk about the Dashavataram. Storytelling at its best. There is a very eminent person on stage here who has popularized the Kalinga Nartana Tilana that it is heard in all parts of the world. The creator of the Kalinga Nartana Tilana, OVK, we know Utukada Venkata Subbayar or Venkata Kavi, talked about when Krishna danced. You know the story, I'm sure, that the reason why this all happened was Kalinga went and hid in the Yamuna and started putting the poison out there. We all know this. He didn't want to come out there because he was worried of his mortal enemy, Garuda, who will take him away as soon as he went there. Krishna danced on the head of Kalinga because when the footprints of Krishna came on the head of Kalinga, there was not going to be any problem for Kalinga. So that is why Krishna danced, is what they say. And the story goes like that. And that is the story narrated by this gorgeous composition. We all know the story of that entire episode very easily because of the Kalinga Nartana Tilana. The third place where it comes into play, dialogue and conversation, asking questions. Mayamma, Yeni, Pilachita Matalada Radha. Shama Sastri is asking, won't you please talk to me? It is me. Nay, I'm calling you, Pilachite. Matalada Radha. How would you feel if your best person said, I won't talk to you? How would you feel? Won't you feel sad? That is what is the emotion that he has spoken to us in this beautiful composition in Ahiri. I am going to conclude this with the last point that I have to say, which is inward vision. ānandaṁ, paramānandam, sachidanandam. Awareness of the self. And I go to Muthuswami Dikshitar and Tyagaraja Swami and demonstrate the Sahityam on the Veena of this great composition where Tyagaraja Swami talks about salvation and how one gets liberated with the prana and the anala coming together, the vital force of life, which gives to the Omkara, which gives rise to the Omkara, which then gives us the Saptaswara and the way to salvation, Moksha Mugalada, the spiritual release. In Moksha Mugalada, Tyagaraja Swami also says, the Veena is one of the ultimate paths to understanding Nada and salvation. And Shiva, the embodiment of Nada, is represented as Veena Dakshinamurti. Perhaps alluding to that Veena Dakshinamurti is probably what he alluded here with Veena Vadana. I am very grateful for this opportunity, and I would just like to conclude with a line from Martin Luther King to talk about how universal music is. Martin Luther King Jr., disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, says, "Music is a discipline and a mistress of good manners. She makes people milder and gentler, more moral and more reasonable." To that I would add, she's a unifying power and force that enables and leads to the creation of a balanced, equitable, just society and community across man-made geographical borders. Namaskaram and thank you.
Thank you so much, Nirmalama. It was beautiful to get the whole expanse of the kind of legacy that has been left to us by all the great seers, composers, and saints of our country. Our Bharat is defined as the land of Dharma. It is the land of Dharma. Everything it is enjoined with Dharma. And for every person, every role, every duty, everything that we should or should not do is governed by Dharma. Even when we go to the temple, it is bhakti, but underlying the bhakti is not the Dharma. You explained that Dharma so beautifully. Thank you so much. We now request Shashikiran ji to share his wisdom with us.
Thank you so much. As Aruna Madam expressed her views, she's going to talk later after everybody's presentation in detail, going much deeper into every single aspect that you have covered, Nirmala ji. And now, calling upon Shashikiran ji, one of the prolific singers of Carnatic classical music, an amazing teacher, a wonderful human being, an organizer, and every single wonderful quality that you can think of. That is Shashikiran ji, belonging to a wonderful family of Gotuvadyam Narayan Swami Iyengar, and one of the, the greatest lineages of Carnatic classical music. Shashikiran has been instrumental in promoting the glory of Carnatic classical music in some of the topmost international stages. And then it's a really wonderful and then great honor having you here, Shashi ji. And then here, ladies and gentlemen, Shashikiran, please.
First of all, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Salutations to Sadguru Swami Madhusudan Sai ji. What a vision to first of all create something like this. It's a paradise for culture. And I'm absolutely inspired to be here in the presence of Padma Shri Aruna Sairam ji, who is chairing this session. A very, very, very insightful, unique musician. It's a pleasure to be here. And sincere thanks to one of India's pride, musical pearls, Dr. Manjunath ji. What a beautiful morning session. Their speech is still I'm still soaking in it. And then we just heard from the fellow panelist, Nirmala Rajasekar ji. She has already led me on to my topic. The last composition is the beginning of my topic. Pranavanadam is also mentioned in the very same Mokshamugalada. My topic is about nādopāsanā. And music as a pursuit for not just performance or for entertainment, but once we seek to understand what is Brahman. First of all, Brahman is our understanding of the Paramatma. And the connect between the Paramatma and the Jivatma is what nādopāsanā is, in very simple terms. And I've come prepared with a lot of things, but I'm going to try and talk more from my heart, because this is about art for the heart. So we can't connect with only the material that I already have. So let's go more into what we can actually seek within ourselves through the experience that we've all enjoyed. 20 to 25 minutes is the presentation. This is similar to the experience that we actually see when we get to perform. Maybe the concert duration is 2 hours, 1 hour, or something like that. But what goes behind every single musician is the nādopāsanā in them. Lifelong penance. Nādopāsanā. Let's expound a little bit onto what nāda itself means. Of course, we can define it in many ways as just about the sound energy, musical sound energy, not just any sound energy, but musical sound energy. I have some presentation which you can keep watching as long when I talk about it. But the word nāda, as expounded and understood and defined by someone who was called Nishanka. Do you know who he is? He wrote a brilliant treatise called Saṅgīta Ratnakara. It's none other than Sarangadeva or Shrangadeva. He was undoubtedly an expert in understanding this entire thing, which he shared to all of us through a brilliant treatise, where he says, Na itself is the pranan in us, the prana. That is the Na. And the Da is nothing but the anala or the fire. The same thing is echoed by none other than the great Tyagaraja in the very same Mokshamugalada, when he says Pranavanada Saptaswara. Paraga. Prana Anala Samyoga. That is the first line. Prana Anala Samyogamu Valla. Pranavanada Saptaswara Paraga. So even for the Nadam to come, you need to have a beautiful conjunction of Prana and Anala. And that is the exact essence of voice culture. That is the exact essence of how sound is produced in us. So, without the Prana, we all don't even exist. So the all-pervading Prana, which is there in outside, is there inside. So the connect and understanding of how the Panchabhutas work within us and outside us is the sole essence of nādopāsanā. And once we are able to do that, we will be able to transcend the barriers of merely catering to a entertainment level as an artist. Of course, no artist intends only that. There are moments even in a very single concert where that artist themselves are in trance and you also experience goosebumps. Now, that experience itself is the nada, upasana that they have shared with you. Now, going further to this entire thing, Sarangadeva also says very beautifully, worshipping Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara is great. But the nada upasana itself is equivalent to doing all this, which Tyagaraja again echoes in his composition, beautiful composition, nādopāsanā che in Begada. It's a very beautiful composition where he says and equates all the three, Shankara, Narayana and Vidulu. So he brings in all of them in that composition and says that is only nādopāsanā. Once you do nādopāsanā, you're already worshipping all of them. And for sanmukti or mokshamu again, for moksha itself, if you are realized the nada, then moksha is automatic. That is salvation. You don't need anything more. Now, I spoke about the saptaswaras. Of course, any student learning music, the first tonic note is sa, right? So when we think of sa, while I was practicing, once it just occurred to me, are there really 7 notes? And then why this sa first? Right? And sa is a tonic note. And when we were thinking of it, sometime it just struck to me that sa is an achala swaram, right? We don't give any gamakam to it. It's an achala swaram. There are lots of students here. So I'm telling for all your benefits as well. That being the tonic note, if you actually visualize it, it is nothing but you see 2 forms of energy. In science, we call it potential energy and kinetic energy. In spirituality, this has all been told very early. It's been told Shiva and Shakti, right? The static energy that we see in spirituality is Shiva. Just being there. The energy that creates everything is Shiva. Shadjam is that, right? Shruti means something to listen to, hearing. Shrutaha. So the more you hear, so you hear the Shruti and then communicate what it is. And the tonic note, that is Sa. The movement from there, any kinetic movement from Sa to the next note is Re. And let us look closely from a meditative perspective. What we call as understanding the Kundalini within ourselves, right? All of you who have experienced this practice, if you say Sari, Re, that is already the Bija Mantram. Reem, Shreem, Kleem, everything is a Bija Mantram of Devi. So Re was put as a second note, right? So in Western we call it Re, similar, right? And 7 notes are common to all forms of music, entire universe, right? But while we come to think of it, then we think of Re, then Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha and Ni. Yes, I can connect it to many other things in that, of 7 itself. But let's look at only 2. Sa is Shiva, Re is Shakti. Then if you make Re as Sa, then Ga will become Re. If you make Ga as Sa, Ma will become Re. Similarly, Pa, then Da will become Re. Da as Sa, Ni will become Re. Ni as Sa will become Re. Ultimately, do we have 7? We have 2. One is the potential energy, the other is the kinetic energy, Shiva and Shakti. That's it. That is the understanding of the essence of the connect between the how the cosmic energy works outside and within us. The potential energy is who we are. The kinetic energy is the force around us, which is created by nature, the Shakti. And that when we internalize within ourselves, we are able to understand the manifestation of nada within ourselves, and that nada within ourselves is pervading outside when we share it through the prana and anala samyoga. That is the core of what nada upasana is. Upasana, in short, is nothing but a sadhana. We all do sadhana, right? Sadhana is just practice. Upasana is an insightful practice seeking spirituality. When you don't remember time, when you don't remember where you are, when you don't remember anything that you have to do beyond what you are, that becomes an upasana. If you are in the moment, okay, I have to practice today, I have a concert, that is sadhana only. If you go beyond that, there is nothing, no desire, nothing. I am enjoying, I am seeking the bliss. That is upasana, and that is continuous. Every single moment that you experience that, then you are in a bliss of your own. Then there is nothing that you actually seek from the external world for validation. Now, Saptaswara, there's another very important connect of the Saptaswara with the chakras. The most important thing also sang along, if you noticed. So that is internalized from the vocal and then translated, and the nada from the instrument also emanates and resonates in all of us. The energy that is produced within us is manifested in the 7 chakras. 7 chakras are most vital energies for us to exist, right? The important thing is to connect and understand our connection with these chakras. If there is an imbalance between the chakras, we can't exist without a disease. Corona was one of the things. Many such things could happen if we don't internalize these chakras. So for us to even tell to the world to live a very happy and beautiful life, we all need to take this nādopāsanā and show them. So there is a sadhana that you all can try, which you can do through a Saptaswara meditation, where just sustaining on each of these notes through Omkara. Om is the pranava nada, right? The first note, which we can, the pranavas, pranavam, which we call itself as Om. Om because it connects all the vowels, right? Mainly the A, U and Im. And where do these come from? Akaram is coming right from your nabhi. Then Ukaram is from the heart and Im is from the nasal. This is what she also showed in her composition, Shobilo Saptaswara. Nabhi Hritkantha Rasana Nasadu Layandu. Even the nasal thing is involved. And that with the beautiful layam, when it is intertwined, then your Saptaswarams glitter. That's what Tyagaraja says. He says it glitters, not just exists, it glitters and glows. So that is the power. And why are great composers great? Not because they just compose something musically and melodically. If you think of Tyagaraja, after his period, we have seen so many things. No internet, nothing. He has not performed for anybody. Today the entire world is still celebrating a Tyagaraja Aradhana. He was from a small village. You can't even trace that village in the map. It will take so much to even see where that village was. Why is he such a great person? Because he was insightful of all of this. And now, if you take this chakras, first chakra, as you say, Mooladhara, and then you have Swadhisthana. So if you go, then Manipura, Anahata, then Vishuddha, and then Agnya, and then Sahasra. So if you take each of these chakras, 7 chakras, they are very closely connected with Sa, Ri, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni. And if you take the order in which these notes are produced also, Sa, Ri, Ga is produced right from starting from your Mooladhara, it goes on till Manipura. Then Ma goes to the heart chakra. That's why it's called Madhyamam. It's a middle chakra, right? So very, very important. If we understand, we just don't sing Sarigama Padanisa just for first lesson. You should meditate on these notes through Omkara, Pranamam. If you are able to do that, and singing, first of all, learning music, I think the very great thing here is that he has made, Sadguru has made this, that everybody can sing. Everybody who can hear, who can talk, can all sing in this entire world. And that if we are able to spread, that is a great nādopāsanā, and that is the great unifying force by itself. We don't need anything more than that to unify all of us. So we all have to become ambassadors where we can all take that. We don't have to be a celebrity musician to do it. Each one of us are ambassadors ourselves, only if we do nādopāsanā, right? So that is the main thing. And let us look at that aspect where this connect of these chakras are happening. From chakras, if we move a little bit to the laya aspect. Now the melody side is this. Rhythm, the next important side. In concise way I'm trying to tell you, because this topic I can talk for long, but there are other speakers, we have to respect that, and I will keep it short and not get too carried away. So the other thing, the rhythm itself, let's think of what the meaning of laya itself. Laya is to align, to harmonize with something, right? That is again universally pervading energy. We are all in laya here because we are in heart and soul, present here and connected here. So there's nothing else that we are doing. We are all in laya right now. And every action that, or every sound that you hear is in laya. Whether it is something like a train going or any other sound, including the heartbeat. The closest connect for us, where music began, is the time that you are already getting and sensing and feeling the heartbeat. The mother feels it much earlier than all of us. A mother experiences it much earlier than anybody. A child prodigy actually is born right there, when the heart is already beating. There already is music internalized, right? The beats start first. And when that connects beautifully to the pulse rate, then and I am able to share that energy with you, that laya which I experience, if I connect through the songs, the melody, then that becomes nādopāsanā by itself. So now, if you take Tyagaraja, again, why he was a great composer, one simple example, I'm giving Tyagaraja as one example, all the great composers, okay, let's put it that way. If you take, by default I made an experiment scientifically. Most of his compositions are in the speed of 72 to 80 beats per cycle. Incredible. I don't think he programmed and had a machine where he would think 72 to 80 beats per cycle, I will have these compositions rendered. But it was fascinating to do that experience. Of course, we have not heard Tyagaraja live. So from whatever the musicians have given us, if we take that as an experience, most of his compositions are in that. So for a normal heartbeat or a pulse rate, 72 to 80 beats are considered as a standard. I was even thinking, for all those who are suffering from corona or anything, the oxygen was dropping. I was thinking we should have music played in all these hospitals with this Tyagaraja's compositions played in that speed. Of course, the similarity can be given in Western and Hindustani music. And any globally good music, any music that you enjoy, if that rhythm and melody blend so seamlessly and synchronizes with your heartbeat, automatically the connect is there. You will enjoy it. That is the joy that we take. And the other thing is, for those, of course I'm going a little bit beyond the realms of normal people. So somebody is very stressed. So what do we do for them? So they're very stressed, anxious, something like that. Then we need to create a different music. For that also we have music. So if the beats are doubled, then if you are very, very much in a hypertension mode, you cannot enjoy. If it is too fast, if you go like that, then how can somebody enjoy that if they are already stressed and in a high stress mode? So for them you need calm music. Muthuswami Dikshitar and compositions are Hindustani, Drupads or the khyals, the Bada khyals, where the rags are played, or even the raga alapanas in a very soulful way, that will pave way for that beautiful experience of just enjoying that energy and feeling that and becoming calm. And for those who are very mellow and, they don't have anything, no motivation in life, then you need fast music. That also we have in our music. Tyagaraja himself has given that songs also. Really fast songs. Of course, Raghu and instrumentalists like Manjunath ji and others, they produce magical experiences where the combination I heard yesterday also with that beats of two Manjus joining, and they created that climax. That was so pulsating for all of us, right? That is the experience of the joy that you experience, and that is it nādopāsanā? Yes, it is nādopāsanā, because they are transferring their energy, their complete energy transfer is happening instantly, and they are making you feel that energy. That positive energy that they have within them, when it is shared, that is also nādopāsanā, right? And the nādopāsaka is one who does not do sadhana only for himself. Why is Sadguru such a great person? Because he is able to share whatever he has got as insight to all of you. Similarly, all these musicians, Aruna ji today gave us a beautiful unifying melody that she presented. That is the total brilliance of how it was there. I don't know whether you noticed, even in the Italian piece or what she sang, she beautifully showed one Swaraksharam came in Ga. In Kalyani. It was coincidental. My mind was going into just how that Swaraksharam is incorporated in an alien language. Of course, in Tyagaraja's composition and other great composers, we see it. How that happened in that kind of composition was something that I was immediately relating to. So these kinds of very interesting things happen in music, where the artists also are in complete bliss. It's just happening. And today she sang without even a Shruti. The Shruti is in the mind. The body becomes a Shruti, right? That is what Nada Tanumanisham she played in the where the Nada itself, your body becomes the Nada completely. And after that, there is nothing that you have to do. So, I think there is much more for me to say. The experiences of Nadaswaram, for instance, in temple. You go to a temple and you experience sheer joy there, right? That Nadam of the Nadaswaram, in an occasion like a temple function, it reverberates the whole place. It energizes you in a completely different way, right? That is experiencing something, that bliss that you can never get. Now, nada is of two forms, ahata nada and anahata nada. Ahata nada is the sound that you actually hear, which we can all experience in any music, any good music. The difference between a performer and an artist is a performer is an entertainer. He has to entertain, right? When I become a performer, I am having a role. I have to entertain you. But when I become an artist, I am just seeking the art. And I am sharing just the art to you. I am showing the beauty of the art. When I become one with the art, then that definition changes. So similarly, this ahatam and anahata nadam, we may think is the enlightened sound. They used to say that only Gandharvas can hear it. No. Beg to differ there. All of us do experience anahata nada. We also are in the state of being a Gandharva in some places. But, like many things, to be only in that moment, we are unfortunately controlled by so many other things that happen on a daily basis that we don't feel that. So the moment we are transported, I'm sure when we go to a concert, we don't think about what is happening outside. That 2 hours we are there. We are forgetting everything that we have. After that, again, our problems come back. So that is what we call as a very special thing. The moment of you realize a sound, anahata nada, can also be experienced between the silence of 2 notes. Any phrase to the next phrase, the silence is also anahata nada. So when you feel that anahata nada, and when you experience in your own practice the anahata nada, you transcend to the next level. That is the real feeling of joy within oneself. Becoming oneself is the key to this whole effect. Carnatic music, by default, I would like to say this also. If you look at the gamakas, design of gamakas, which is a very vital thing about Carnatic music. The minor and major notes are very important in all forms of music, right? Minor notes are generally associated with feeling of soberness, pathos. Major notes immediately creates a positive effect. While all music forms believe this, in Carnatic music they even change this during the way that gamakas were taught. Sari ga ga ma ga ga, that's a note. Sari ga ga. So actually the movement that's happening is, the movement is starting from the note Re 1, which is your Shuddha Rishabha. And it goes all the way till Ma. Okay? Ma is a major note. So Re is a weak note. Re 1 is a minor note, it's a weak note. Ma ga re ga sari ga ma ma da ma, all these movements. What is gamaka? Is a connection of 2 notes and the way it is connecting. Ga. So ga 2 is also a minor note. Ga is a minor note. So in all the other forms, sari ga ma pa da ni da ba ma ga ri sa, it will all be plain. But when we do this gamaka and we are able to connect them and take the support of the major note, it's oscillating between ma and re 2. Re 2 is again another major note. So it negates the feeling of sadness. Same happens in the Padanisa. Whatever they have done for Sarigama, they have echoed it for Padanisa. Sa and Pa become the fulcrum. That is what in Tambur also we have. So basically this beautiful connection and understanding of this, how even the Gamakas have come, and that is not just merely an exercise of a scientific and logical process of making a raga beautiful, but creating a positive effect in the listener around the world is the main purpose of classical music. And this experience is very unique, and this one has to actually experience for every raga. I'm just giving you a simple definition of Todi. You can take it to every single raga in Carnatic music and see, you will feel the same thing. Of course, due to paucity of time, I will tell you that there is much more to this. Every single rasika, all that I would say is, we should just enjoy all forms of music, irrespective of anything, without being biased towards either our own senses of what we like or not, don't like, but beyond that, just enjoy it for the pleasure of what the music itself offers. Try to enjoy the spirit of what the music gives us, the spirit of freedom that we have in celebrating our music, and become one among this entire music. It will uplift our life and our experience. Try to start off with the practice of the Saptaswaram with just the notes. Sa, A, Om. So I'm doing it fast, you have to do it really slow. Take a deep breath and do it as long as you can sustain. Okay? And similarly, if you're able to also connect, those who have sinus or any other problems, if you're able to do take a deep breath, understand your breath first, and then hold. And then, while you're holding, if you understand while you're inhaling, you know sound can be produced. So when you hold your breath, you can produce sound. So if somebody says, I have a nasal block and I can't sing, that's not true. You can sing. Only 2 notes use that nasal thing where you cannot produce it, which is ma. Ma, so that ma will have a nasal, ma and ni. Otherwise, all the notes are free. So you can still sing. So that is one more thing that you can try. And so while doing this exercise, ma, so leave that. Sa. Then while you are taking the breath, sa, holding the breath. Then im. So take the breath, release the breath in the other nostril. If you are able to do this with that energy early in the morning, we will be able to get off from sinusitis problem and asthmatic problems. Thank you all. It was again a joy. Once again, thanks to Vidwan, Dr. Manjunath ji, for inviting me for this session. So much more to this topic, and I think the more will come from none other than a person who has got Pandit in his name itself. I would like to also add that I have not spoken anything that I put in the slides.
Thank you so much, Shashikiran ji, for your extremely informative and enlightening talk. I really wish we could have a session that you would come back and spend time with the students here and share many of these insights. I think it would be, don't you agree with me, students? We should come back and do that. I will request Pattabhiram Pandit ji to speak, and requesting to keep it to about 18 minutes, yeah, because we are exceeding the time. Yes, thank you.
Shashi ji, that was really brilliant. As Aruna madam said, yes, you will be frequently kidnapped to this campus, and we will, he will be brought for many other exclusive workshops, whether it is Carnatic classical music or, vocal traditions or voice culture or whatnot, and the Gamakas. Every single raga we can have one exclusive conference itself. That is the greatness of Carnatic classical music or Indian classical music. Thank you so much for throwing lights on different aspects of music, and then immensely delighted. Please. And now Pattabhiram Pandit, as Shashikiran himself has already said, the only person probably who can have both Vidwan, Pandit, Pattabhiram, then this has to be Pattabhiram, because in South Indian tradition we always say Vidwan. In North Indian tradition we say Pandit, but he has already Pandit in his name. So it is going to be, he belongs to one of the greatest traditions of Carnatic classical music. Palgat K.V. Narayan Swami, one of the luminaries of Carnatic classical music, one of the legends, who in a way is a disciple of Aryakudi Ramanuja Iyengar, who is believed to have given the present shape to Carnatic classical music, belonging to such an amazing classical music tradition. Pattabhiram Pandit, even though he holds a high position in Philip's company, but his heart is always music. And that is why we have invited to talk about art is the heart. And Pattabhiram Pandit, our ಹಾಡೋ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಅವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ತುಂಬಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗೋಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕಚೇರಿ ಕೇಳಿರೋದು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದರಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗೋಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ತಂಬೂರಿ, ಆ ಡಿವೋಷನ್ನು, ಆ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಶನ್ನು, ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವು ಸಮಯ ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಜನಗಳ ಕತೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ, ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಬುರ್ದಂಗೆ ಯಾರು ಎದ್ದೋದ್ರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಯಾರು ಬಂದರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನೋ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಂಗೀತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಳುಗಿದರೆ ಅದೇ ಅದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿಚಾರ. As rightly mentioned by Shashikiran ji, the difference between an artist and a performer and mere player and a musician and a Vidwan. All subtle variations. But yavana player antivi, yavana music nalli somebody who can even make some noise, we call him a player. Anybody can be player. But in order to be a musician, in order to get himself elevated to an artist, all thin layers. And I'm very happy that, Shashiji spoke about all those things. But we need to have much detailed, very, very in-depth discussion. Pattabhiram Pandit, please welcome Pattabhiram Pandit. Thank you so much.
Narayana Nama Parayanam Rama Narayana Kim Rama Narayana Kim Mama Gurum Mama Gurum Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. What is art? Art is an expression of emotions, right? An expression of emotion. Then what is heart? I would say it's the home of life cycle of emotion. It's a source of the emotion and the destination of the emotion. I would say art is immortal. Heart continues to keep coming through. Although in that finite period it's immortal, it keeps coming through. This is what we say. This is a great saying. I don't know who coined this. Art is the heart. I think it must be Manju Anna and Paramapujya Sadguru Swami who has coined it. Such a great saying. Art in the heart. And art is the heart. Hridayam, right? Hrid is nothing but heart. And it's called the divine reality of existence or experience. That's what we would like to put it across. Can we move on to the next slide? There should be one more slide. Previous slide. Go back. Yes. There is nothing without my Guru. My Guru, Palghat K. Vinarayan Swami Mama. He is turning 100. Although he left his body in 2002, he is still with us, and we would be celebrating his centenary celebrations during this year from November 22 to November 2023. Move on to the next slide. Let's talk about art first. We spoke about art, and art is the heart. When we talk about fine arts, art has many forms, right? Art has many forms of expression. The most notable forms of artistic representation are known as fine arts. And that's what you see in the slide that has been flashed, which has architecture, dance, sculpture, music, painting, literature, and cinematography. Although there are furthermore with photography and other thing coming in. Fine arts are a part of transcendental and lasting values of humanity. It remains despite the passage of time and occupies a central place in our culture. If you start looking at the commonality between the two experts who just now spoke, we have actually not spoken to each other. We actually came in directly. We were all talking about the bliss. We are going to be talking about Satchidananda state. And if you look at it, it's all about finally, we are looking at fine art is the central symbol in the human conception of the universe. It's a central symbol in the human conception of the universe. Fine arts are vehicles of values, imaginations, and central to its existence in the universal culture, and that's why art is eternal. We'll quickly move on to being a musician. Of course, I have my own biases. I say, as many artists in the past have quoted, music is the finest of fine arts. Let's talk a little bit about music and spirituality. Can we move on to the slides, please? Music and spirituality is intricately related, right? What is spirituality? Honestly speaking, it's a subject which perhaps less spoken the best because it has to be experienced. I would say it's intricately related with spirituality often being the inspiration for the creation of music. Either listening to music or creation of the music. Look at it. It's basically the spirituality is the inspiration. It's going to be the inspiration for creation of music, and music so often creating the desired atmosphere for a spiritual occasion. So they are intertwined. Music and spirituality are intertwined. The spiritual nature of music cannot be defined by religion, culture, and genre. Music is religion. Music is the communication medium. For any artist, as Shashiji rightly mentioned, for any artist, there is absolutely no religion, but music is the only religion. And music is the only communication medium. And that's exactly the reason why you see that all artists bring in a lot of positive aura. All artists are nada tapasvis. They bring in the positive aura, and because of which that positive aura gets transformed to the audience, and that's exactly the reason why, as we were speaking about the stress levels and other things, how it actually gets reduced. It's basically nothing but this positive energy basically getting transformed to the audience. Music precedes and transcends all of these frameworks, whatever that we talk about. When created from the heart and with truth, very important. Sathya. Satyam is extremely important. When created with heart and with truth, with pure intentions, music is a spiritual expression of the most universal nature. This is going to be the mantra for us, right? As artists. That's the most important thing. Every now and then, we as artists, we are students for lifelong, and we have to keep remembering this. When something is done with, from the heart and with truth and with pure intentions, music is a spiritual expression of the most universal nature. Move on to the next slide. Let's now talk a little bit about Nadanubhava. What is Nadanubhava? Nada Anubhava is a one spike of an experience, a divine experience. It's part of Nadanusandhana. And that's exactly what, if you look at Shashi ji and Nirmala ji spoke about Nadanusandhana. I was once in one of my international travels, concert tour. I had a great opportunity to interact with Bal Murali sir. I asked Bal Murali sir, "Sir, Nadhanusandhana enna sir? What is Nadhanusandhana?" He took about 30 seconds. It's nothing but practice. Sir? Yes, it's nothing but practice. So simply he put it across. You know what it means? It's basically when you keep doing this practice again and again and again and again, there is an energy, there is an internal energy that gets generated, and that is Nadanubhava. And this is the Nadanubhava that we have to, as artists, have to transform this energy to the audience. One is, as rightly mentioned, both Manju Anna, I don't call him Dr. Manjunath because he is my Manasika Guru. I don't call him with his name. Manju Anna said, there are players for gallery. And Shashi ji also mentioned, hey, as a performer, we have a responsibility that we need to entertain the audience. However, one step further that we have to go, looking at making sure that our audience, in fact, forget to actually clap. And that is the level at which I think that is the kind of tapas that as a performer or as an artist that we need to do so that that is transformed. That energy is transformed. So let me talk a few things about how this Nadanubhava or Nadanubhava as three different personas. I come from a background of healthcare background, so I deliver medical devices to diagnostic chains, hospitals across the globe. And we have this concept of persona. The persona is, as a student, Nirmala ji and Shashi ji spoke about this Omkara. How do we basically, as a student, we experience this Nadanubhava? Perhaps for students, I think this is an extremely important thing. The most important thing is when you do Akara Sadhana, we do in the morning, we actually do the full breathe. Ye, oo, ye, om. When we do this, especially for students, please do this in the morning. Every shadjam or sa, ni, da, pa, pada, ni, sa. That's enough. 5 times. Make sure that every swaram, you will do it for 5 times. Akaram, ikaram, ukaram, ekaram, okaram, omkaram. By doing this, there is a jyoti that comes in front of you. I mean, it depends. I mean, for many, they have their own aradhya devas and they will get it in different forms. But that is one of the Nadanubhava, because you get goosebumps, which is exactly what Shashi ji also mentioned about it. And which is exactly what Nirmala ji mentioned. Omkara, they spoke about Pranavanada, Pranagni, that's what they spoke about. But Om, that is nothing but all of us as students, we have to, irrespective whether we practice the Varnams or Kritis or other things, make sure that every day we make this, at least for about 20 minutes, we do this Akara Sadhanam. As a student, we need to get this experienced to us. And once this is experienced and the goosebumps goes away, as you keep practicing for years and years, the goosebumps basically go away, but then these goosebumps will start coming onto our audience. So this is one experience that I'll talk about as a student, right? Many times we will be in a, when we are doing music practice, the maximum positive energy, obviously, as we all spoke about that any time when we sing, the positive energy, it's an accumulation of positive energy. And I have experienced many myself experiences in my late night practice sessions with my dear friends who are great artists themselves, would boost up our energy for the rest of the day. People used to ask, hey, how is this possible? Hey, if you start practicing from night 11:30 until maybe morning 5:30 with a gap of some perhaps half an hour, 45 minutes, how are you still able to be awake in the day and yet again you go back to your work? Well, that is the energy. When you are singing, the most important thing for students is that it is the energy that you are accumulating. Keep that in mind. When you are singing, you are basically nothing but you are accumulating the energy. So that is one of the experiences that I have, come across. And when we look at perhaps as a listener, I can speak about my experience with my guru when he sings Krishna, Krishna ni be Krishna ni began baro Krishna ni began. When he's singing like this, what comes to the mind? The battle-hardened life, the life experience of my guru, and his tapas, the amalgamation of the lyrical power, the cuddling of the raga, the cuddling of the kala pramana, and the positive energy of my guru. This is the amalgamation that comes to me as a listener. And this is exactly what happens to every one of us, right, as listeners. When we go back home, we go humming that particular song, whatever that it would have touched our heart. So this is the amalgamation that we are looking at it, and that amalgamation is nothing but nada anubhava. So we spoke about, as a student, as a listener, and as a performer. The performance, basically, I think Shashiji rightly touched upon it. Especially, once again, the amalgamation, the lyrical beauty, and the way that you bring in that feeling. Paramatma Parama. I may be doing like this. That little, this one, right? Param Parama Modu. There is a subtleness. There is a reducing the volume. There is a subtleness that is coming. So all of this is an anubhava that we have to bring in as a performer. And more importantly, when we try to bring in these kind of a combination of these navarasas that I think Nirmala ji spoke about, I think the combination, an appropriate combination of these, when it is brought in, I think this is exactly where the spiritual experience, even without the knowledge of spiritual experience, one can attain that. Move on to the next slide, and that's going to be my last slide. A clinical perspective of supreme bliss. So when we talk about, we all know that, this is going to be my last slide. when we talk about music, basically reduces stress. It's proven. The stress inducing hormone, cortisol, all of us know cortisol, right? Some of us, if we have experienced, people at home having lifestyle diseases, they say cortisol levels have gotten up. However, if you look at while practicing music, it keeps the cortisol level under check. And that's how the stress is completely controlled. And Shashiji, once again, he brought up that 60 BPM to 80 BPM, and he spoke about that 72 BPM, where the 72 is the heart rate, right? Basically, that is the one which calms down and it controls the blood pressure and the flow of the blood. Once that is done, automatically, so look at it. It all depends finally on the kala pramanam. That's the most important thing. Ānanda or paramānanda or Satchidananda. And this is exactly what all our Vagyakaras or the composers have spoken and have narrated. Thank you. With this, I think I will be concluding my session. Thank you for such a great opportunity. Thanks for inviting me to such a serene and a place for bhakti. And thank you, Manju Anna. And it's such a great pleasure to be speaking in front of one of the greatest fans. I'm one of the greatest fans, Aruna Mami and Nirmala ji and Shashi ji. Thank you for this opportunity.
Om. The beauty and power of Omkara, the Om. We all have realized it, and it was such a brilliant presentation. And thank you so much, Patapi. And the way the connection between the divinity and human being, that can very easily be achieved through classical music. The music of India, you have beautifully, wonderfully demonstrated it. And I wish we had little more time. I'm pretty sure all my students, all my wonderful friends, they will all agree that we are going to have all of them for an exclusive workshop sometime very soon. And thank you so much. And now, may I take this opportunity to invite the chair, Aruna madam, to come and then deliver the chair address, please.
Thank you so much, Manjunath ji. I was wondering that after listening to such erudite expositions from these experts, that you would have some questions. So why don't we do the questions first, and then I can sum up, if that is all right. If there is any question you want to ask, I think we should go for that now.
ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗರು ಏನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆರು ಕೇಳಿ ಸಂಗೀತಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಾಗೆ. ಇಂಥ ಗ್ಯಾಲಕ್ಸಿ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಿಗೋದು ಬಹಳ ಅಪರೂಪ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದೇ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಲೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟದ್ದು. ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೀವು ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆನಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿ. ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಟು interact with you, and then it's a super occasion for all of you.
Come, because then it will give insight to all of us to know what you have in your mind. And that's very important. Unless we have that, then it is, we may not be able to reach out to you the way we should, unless we know what is in your mind.
Sir? Oh, Omkara, please.
Once again, we want to hear, because we got some more ideas. Generally, ma we say, but he repeated, we want to hear just.
You want to listen to Omkara one more time?
With his explanation.
Oh, his explanation. Can you just go a little deeper into Omkara thing and its importance or whatever, how it's been? Yeah.
So
Right.
let me, maybe
you-
I don't know if I can. I will only put my viewpoints here because this is such a great subject, sir. However, one thing I have already experienced at least a couple of times in my life, when I'm doing this Omkara or A, E, U, for me it is a Bija mantra. When I do this, it has kept me in certain times of my life, very challenging times of my life, that Sthita Pragnata Bhava. That's extremely important. To give an example, why I am telling you this is, of course, my teacher taught me, my master taught me when I was in my 5th standard. And when I reached the first time when Manju Anna, when Naganna is playing for me in Mysore, it so happened that I have gotten onto the stage and my brother is in a deathbed in the hospital, which I was not even aware of. I got a message. First thing that came to my mind was, absolutely I am here as one with the Supreme Being. That mindset change was a great change for me. Although it was a painful thing. After I got back, I had to do my, whatever the duty that I had to, adhere to. However, from an emotional standpoint, it actually made me it gave me some sort of a control. So why I am telling this is extremely important for every student of fine arts, because not every day is a Sunday. We may get into a lot of accolades. At the same time, we may have a lot of criticisms coming in, and we need to manage that pressure. If that needs to be done, this is one of the mechanisms where a very simple mechanism which can help us in keeping us in good stead.
I myself have a question, either for Nirmala ji or Shashi ji or Patabi, whoever it is. My question is this, many of them are students who have recently started learning classical music, either Hindustani or Carnatic or whatever. Maybe they are in first year, second year, third year or whatever. Many of them are already wonderful singers or whatever. When we talk about spirituality, music, divinity and music, salvation and music, moksha and music, all those things are really very, very serious things. They don't know anything much because they have just now started. Many of them are really wonderful singers. One of these days we will be extending a special invitation to all of you to just listen to them sing so beautifully. And many of them have absolutely no background, classical music background. But still, the way they are all singing is really, really extraordinary. And one more thing, I think it is much relevant to bring to your kind notice that, we also have Sathya Sai Orchestra, the wonderful band, wherein more than 80 students who had absolutely no formal introduction or education in whatever thing, either not only in music, but also in different instruments, but still they all are playing so beautifully. Many people who witnessed their orchestra even cried the way they are all playing. They don't know they cannot even pronounce the instrument name that they are playing perfectly. But they are playing beautifully. My question is, for them, all these things, spirituality, divinity, connection with the, maybe very, is it something that they have to systematically learn, or is it something that they gradually will understand while in the process? This is my question. Anyone, please answer.
Actually, the best person to answer this is Aruna ji, because she has amalgamated all of this in her music and shown that none of this even the listener has to know nothing. When they come to her concert, she has shown that, and she has taken even very simple songs, and shown that bliss, that somebody who does not know anything about music, only the Panditas enjoying music is a different level. Knowing all the Gamakas, knowing the Shastras, Lakshanas, then understanding that what you told, even we experienced. They were singing the bhajans when we walked in. So tuneful and so precise, so melodic, and so much of bhakti in it. Actually, it is said that the minute, while we are practicing or where we are taught a subject, the grammar is taught. When you are on stage, you actually forget everything. The minute you actually think of that, you can't sing. That is the first problem. Because you will always be thinking whether I'm singing something right or wrong. Because, and even while you are listening, if you see a musician listening to a concert, for you all, first thing that I can tell you that when we talked about prana itself, do we always think whether we are breathing? Do we realize we are breathing every day, every single second? We don't, right? When we don't realize that, why should we realize many other things? It happens automatically. We are producing some energy outside is making us do it. That energy is only actually making you sing also or do anything instrument. So you become a manifestation of that energy itself. There you are not you. You are only a form of that energy. And that energy itself knows how to make you do what you're doing. And that's what they have all done. You can hear more from her.
I'm reminded of a joke that I saw in a Hollywood movie years ago, and I want to share that little story with you. There was this great actor called Peter Sellers, and he used to do wonderful comedy movies of the US. So in this particular movie, Peter Sellers is a Runde V. Bakshi, who is an Indian aspiring to be a chota-mota actor in Hollywood. Okay, that is his role in that movie. He goes, by mistake, he gets invited to a party. Okay, by mistake, his name is there in the list. He goes, all celebrities, party, Hollywood celebrities are standing. This guy doesn't know what to do. He has just landed fresh off the boat in the US, wanting to be an actor. So he can't even read the signs, and he goes by mistake into the women's restroom instead of the men's restroom. Okay, imagine the comedy. And some lady, very well dressed, made-up lady comes. She's an actress, celebrity. She sees him coming out of that bathroom and she's outraged. She says, "Who do you think you are?" And Rundi Vibakshi says, "Madam, in India, we don't think who we are, we know who we are." So, what I want to say is to all of you, by the way, last time when I was here for Navaratri, I have told you this, I heard you all sing. It was amazing, amazing, just amazing. Today, you chanted the Hiranya Varnam Lakshmim, and the first nada that came out was so pure, so direct, no pretense, nothing. That is music, that is experience, that is life. So you already have it. Now the problem is, don't lose it. Don't lose it, because Bernard Shaw also said, why in this world are students so brilliant and adults so dull? He said that. Why when adults we become dull? Because all that ego, I know this, I don't know that, I am better, she is better than me, how will they criticize me? All these things come, then we lose that shine. But as human beings, we are born to sing, we are born to make music. Speech is an intellectual activity, but music is not an intellectual activity. It is a natural activity. Just sing, be happy. Your body will tell you that whether you are comfortable, whether it is paining, whether it is not comfortable, that your body, but you have to be aware of your body, means connected with your body. Okay. One last, to conclude this, I wanted to share with you that my guru, one of my gurus, Mr. Rabin from Germany, so I went to him to learn little bit about same thing. You know, I was feeling very imprisoned when I sing. I don't feel like I'm free. I feel I'm in a cage, kind of a feeling I had. That was many years ago when I did not know all these things. Nobody told me. In spite of knowing so much, I did not know something important, okay? That stage. And when I went to him, he just looked at me and he said, okay, let us sing. No explanation. Huh? Just let us sing. Come on. Sing. You sing ah. I sang ah. He just watched me like that and he said, what kind of ah is this? He asked me. He wanted me to say. I said, well, it is ah. He said, yes, but please, when you sing ah, open yourself, open your body, open your mouth. Don't close it. Don't clench here. Don't clench here. Don't clench here. Don't tighten here. Don't tighten your body. Be free. Be open. And then sing. That ah will be different from this whimper of an ah that you produce when you are so tight. Okay, so that was the beginning of a journey for me to understand that nādopāsanā, nāda brahma, nādanubhava, everything that begins there, because he explained to me that when you sing, you think it's only your voice box that is singing. No. Your entire body, the bones, the nerves, the muscles, the organs, they are all coordinating. There are some thousands of coordinations happening when you are singing or playing the veena or anything you are doing. It is a very complex process. So don't try to analyze it. Just be free, accept yourself, be happy, open out, and you will find what you have to find. Okay, so remember, be happy when you sing. You should not feel inhibited. Okay, that's all I wanted to say in answer to that question. Cholungo. I was just going to add one thing. Yes, please. You led me to it. Yes, did I? Please, you should speak.
Aruna actually just provoked this thought. She said, sing with abandon, but she also talked about her guru. She went to Mr. Rabin. If you have the right guru, which is a blessing, life's greatest blessing is having the right guru. And we are there already. You're all singing. Yes. So you have the right guru. Put your trust completely in that guru. Don't doubt for a minute yourself. You don't have to think they will take us.
Yes.
Do you agree with me? That you are in a good place? You're in a wonderful place.
I must commend here our Sadguru and the Kodandiyoda appa amma oda husband irukkaru.
Yes, and they are there. She's right here.
Sir enga irukkaru? Inga irukara? So
Bhatji is here.
But I have seen, he's one of the gurus here, and I have seen his dedication, the whole family's dedication. This is what you need, and you have it. So, and you have Sadguru here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you have the Sadguru.
Your marga is very clear. The path is very clear. All the thorns in the path have been taken away. You are going to be having a wonderful journey. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, your guru will guide you. Surrender.
Yes. That brings us to the end of the first morning session. Before the vote of thanks is proposed, I just wanted to tell you how wonderful it is been in such a divine place, talking about music, going much deeper into classical music. Classical music is one of the finest thing, one of the greatest thing, one of the most beautiful things that you can think of. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. Maybe we are minorities, classical musicians. When you compare with many other, the cricket, Bollywood, this disco dance, that dance, this dance, whatever. But remember always, you have millions and billions of crows. ಕಾಗೆಗಳು ಕೋಟ್ಯಾಂತರ ಇದೆ. ನವಿಲು ಇರೋದು ಭಾಳ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟೇ. But we have only few peacocks. The quality, that is the beauty of classical music. The gold, we are gold. Classical music is golden thing. You cannot find gold everywhere. But everywhere you have steel, iron, and this and that, any kind of things. But gold is always gold. It is gold because it is precise. It is gold because it is very precious. It is so wonderful. We are all sincere practitioners of music. Don't think they all said the same thing, including Aruna Mami. She never calls herself as a performer or Vidwan or Vidushi. All of them say that they are sincere practitioners of classical music. Of course, we are all practitioners of music. Maybe we are little senior than you. We are all walking in the same path, the same direction. There is no destination. The moment we all know, under the able Guru's guidance or whatever, we are all walking towards one wonderful direction. There can be no destination at all. Nobody reached destination, including Tyagaraja Swami or Tansen. They all walked through the same direction. Nobody in the mankind, whether Beethoven or Mozart or Tchaikovsky or Tansen or nobody reached anyone reaching a destination as far as music is concerned. Nobody ever heard of. We are all in the same direction, but the process of walking is blissful. Only we who are practicing classical music, we know that here we are really those blessed ones. Let us have the same spirit. Let us spend longer time with the classical music. Next time when they all come, we will be little more higher in our quality thing. You can also compose something. You can also do whatever thing you want to do. That is precisely what Swami ultimately wants all of you to do. And with that, I'm immensely happy. And over to, these are the people who made all these things possible. They simply Swami made me sit here. But I'm just representing all of them. And vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, speakers and session chairs, for that very enriching and enlightening session with such deep insights into nada and music and its power to connect us to our own selves as well as to the divine. We would now like to felicitate our speakers, and may I request Dr. K.P. Sai Leela, Chairperson of the Girls Campus of the University, to kindly come onto the dais and hand over tokens of our appreciation. First, to Srimati Aruna Sairam ji. To Vidushi Nirmala Rajasekar. To Vidwan K.N. Shashikiran ji. To Vidwan Pattabhirama Pandit ji. Thank you, everyone. We request everyone to come together for a group picture, please. Thank you all once again. We will now break for lunch and will resume at 2:30 for the second technical session. Thank you.